Have you ever faced a moment when there seemed to be no way out? A moment when all the doors were closed and the only thing left to do was trust. Life is full of moments like that. Situations where fear whispers that nothing will work out, where our mind screams for answers and our heart is restless. It's at these times that the big question arises: will God really provide? Today, we're going to dive into one of the most remarkable stories in the Bible: the journey of Abraham and his son Isaac to Mount Moriah. This is not just a story about a test of faith, but about a divine principle that spans generations. What God promises, He fulfills. What He guarantees, no one can take away. When all seemed lost, Abraham declared a powerful phrase that echoes to this day: God will provide. Like him, we are also put to the test. Our challenges may be different, but the lesson is the same. God calls us to trust Him, even when the answer is not yet visible. What about you? Have you ever had to walk by faith, not knowing how everything would work out? If so, this story is for you. Now, imagine yourself next to Abraham, listening to God's voice, feeling the weight of the challenge He placed on your shoulders. How would you react? Would you go ahead or hesitate? Let's find out together. The sun had barely risen on the horizon when Abraham heard the voice that would change everything. Abraham! And he promptly replied, Here I am. There was something different about this call. God had guided Abraham before, promising a son when everything seemed impossible. And He had kept His word. But now, the command was different. Take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There, offer him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will show you. Genesis 22 verse 2. Abraham's heart raced. How could a father sacrifice his own son? How could he understand such a difficult request? But Abraham knew God. He knew that the Lord does not err, does not make mistakes, and never abandons those who trust in Him. So, without questioning, he rose early in the morning, prepared everything for the journey, and set out with Isaac and 2 servants. Along the way, Abraham carried a deep silence within him. While the servants chatted and Isaac walked innocently by his side, Abraham meditated on God's promise. Isaac is the child of the promise. God cannot contradict His own word. But then, why ask for something so difficult? Abraham did not have all the answers, but he had something even more important: faith. As they approached Mount Moriah, he looked at the servants and said something remarkable. Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship and then we will come back to you. Genesis 22 verse 5. Come back. Abraham knew what God had commanded, but even so, he affirmed that he and Isaac would return together. This meant that he fully trusted that, somehow, God would provide. The footsteps of Abraham and Isaac echoed among the rocks of Mount Moriah. The wind blew cold, and the silence between father and son seemed to grow heavier. Abraham felt the weight of what was about to happen, but he did not show hesitation. Then, Isaac asked the inevitable question. Father, the fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Genesis 22 verse 7. Those words pierced Abraham's heart. He knew the answer, but he could not say it. Still, his response was firm. God Himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. With this declaration, Abraham sealed his faith. He did not know how, but he was convinced that God would intervene. When they reached the top, Abraham built the altar. Stone by stone, he carefully arranged everything. Isaac watched, but something within him began to sense that things were different. He looked around, but saw no animal for the sacrifice. The moment had come. The greatest test of his faith was before him. The altar was ready. The wood was stacked, the scene set. Abraham looked at Isaac, and in that instant, time seemed to slow down. With a steady gaze, Abraham called his son. Isaac approached without hesitation. It was then that Abraham began to bind him. First his hands, then his feet. Isaac, who had not questioned anything until then, began to understand. His eyes widened, but he did not resist. He trusted his father. More than that, he trusted God. Abraham placed Isaac on the altar. His heart was racing. He took the knife. His hands trembled slightly. He raised his arm. He was ready to complete the sacrifice. But before the blade descended, a powerful voice echoed through the mountain. "Abraham! Abraham!" He froze immediately. It was God. "Do not lay a hand on the boy and do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Genesis 22 verse 12. Relief flooded Abraham's heart. Tears streamed down his face. He dropped the knife and looked at Isaac. The boy was unharmed. God had spoken. It was then that Abraham heard a noise behind him. When he turned, he saw a ram caught by its horns in a bush. There was God's provision. Abraham ran to the animal, took it, and placed it on the altar in place of Isaac. That was the true sacrifice God had prepared. Abraham looked up to the heavens and gave that place a name. "The Lord will provide." Abraham knelt before the altar, breathing deeply. He understood, now more than ever, that his faith had been tested not to satisfy God, but to strengthen his own trust in the Lord. The angel of the Lord spoke again. "I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore." Genesis 22 verses 16 to 18. The promise had been confirmed. God had already spoken about Abraham's descendants before, but now he reaffirmed his word with even greater power. Abraham and Isaac descended Mount Moriah together. As Abraham had said before going up, they truly returned together. His faith was fulfilled, for he had always believed that God would provide. Mount Moriah pointed to Calvary. Centuries later, on a hill not far from there, another sacrifice would take place. This time, there would be no lamb caught in the bushes. This time, the son would not be spared. Jesus Christ, the true Lamb of God, was given in our place. Like Isaac, he carried the wood of the sacrifice. But unlike Isaac, there was no voice to interrupt the sacrifice. God allowed his own son to be offered so that we might have life. God will provide. He has already provided, and the greatest provision was Christ. Just as Abraham trusted in God, we are called to trust as well. There are moments when we do not see the solution, when the path seems uncertain, but the story of Moriah teaches us that God never fails. He always has a plan. He will always provide. And you? What is your Mount Moriah? What is the situation in which you need to trust that God will provide? Leave in the comments how this message touched your heart and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Leave your comment, share this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. God bless you.